Welcome back, All Sports Western New York, and he's back, the hockey man, Steve Manson, who knows everything there is to know about hockey in Western New York. And tonight is a big night, Steve. It's the retirement of the number 39 for Dominik Hasek. They're going to retire his number. They're going to hang the banner. This is the actual banner. Steve's brought it in. This is the actual banner. I don't know how you've got great contact. It's got stats on the back, and this is going to be hung tonight from the rafters, and it's so beautiful, but it's small, isn't it? How are people going to see this from the
I got great contacts, but to be perfectly honest, it's going to be a little bigger than that.
Oh, this isn't the actual banner.
It's going up there with all the great names and the history of the
They're handing these out tonight?
Yes, they are.
They're handing them out, so that's great, a great souvenir. So the Dominator, he's in the NHL Hall of Fame. He's already in the Sabres Hall of Fame. He's going into the International Hall of Fame. In your opinion, is he the best of all time?
If not the best, he's right there with him, with a Glenn Hall or Terry Sawchuk, or even more modern times, a Patrick Waugh. Dominik's right there, and his style is totally unique to any other goaltender I've ever seen play. Just as the only one is, they used to call him Gumby because he could twist and turn, and anybody that saw him play just sit there and just unbelievable. Back in the day, a lot of times people want to sit in the end of the arena where the Sabres shoot twice for in the first and third period. Back then, people wanted to sit in the other end so they could watch Dominik make these saves goal after goal. He just robbed the other team, and you could just see it. Other players would come down and they'd take a shot and they'd have a wide open net and he'd make the save, and they were just dumbfounded.
What's nice to see, for me personally, for those who remember those days, that he's been welcomed back into the organization with open arms. He did not leave here on a great note. And ironically, he's there tonight with Ted Nolan on the bench. Rob Ray's doing the games. They were not fans of Dominik, or neither was he fans of them at the time. A lot of water's been passed under the bridge since then, and I think all's been forgiven, and he's pretty happy to be back here in Buffalo.
Well, this is, of course, he had great success in Detroit, won a Stanley Cup, but let's be honest, he made his bones right here in Buffalo. This is where he's going to be remembered as a great goaltender. And like you said, the water's been under the bridge. Yeah, you're right, it didn't end well. And some of the statements he made when he was leaving town didn't sit well with the fans and everything. But hey, that was then, this is now, and he deserves to have his number hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, he's, if not the best of all time, he's the best I've ever seen. It's not that I've seen every goalie who's played like you, but he's certainly the most unorthodox. And I always laugh because when they first brought him up, John Muckler had no idea what they had when they traded to Chicago for him and brought him.
He was a throw-in in the deal. I mean, Muckler always claimed that, hey, I could see something in Hasek. Then, well, why did you go trade for Glenn Fuhrer? Or Grant Fuhrer? And he got his shot because of injuries here in Buffalo. And when he took over the net, he never gave it back.
He was unbelievable from the standpoint that no matter who the opposition was, he kept you in the game every night, in and out. He certainly, when you consider his statistics, that Buffalo team he played for was not one of the best teams in the league. He made them one of the best teams in the league.
He carried them. They went to the Stanley Cup Finals in '99. Without Dominik Hasek, they probably wouldn't even have made it to the playoffs.
Right.
It was a good team, a solid team. It was the kind of team that did well with him. But I always go back to Mike Keenan, who was coach of the Chicago Blackhawks, who had Hasek in the first place. And Keenan admits it's one of the biggest mistakes he ever made because he'd see Hasek in practice, and he scared him so much with his style, he wouldn't play him in the games.
Right.
And the first chance he got was to trade him. So, it just an unbelievable period of time in Buffalo sports history to get the opportunity to watch him play.
Okay, so now let's talk about the current team.
Okay.
They're struggling.
Absolutely.
And is it because of the talent? Is it because of the injuries, the illness? Is it a combination of all the above?
I think it's a combination of all the above. Let's be honest, they had that great streak going, and then the injuries hit, and then they had the illness go through the team and everything. And now, this is a very fragile team. They give up those early goals, and it just seems like it happens every single game. And it's like it takes the wind out of whatever their plan was that night. They've come back a couple times, but it's very tough to play from behind, especially when you're, a team like they are. And let's be real honest, the core of this team is starting to be Gergenson's 20 years old, Ruotsalainen 20, Zadorov 19. Next year, Reinhardt, who is having a fantastic season in junior, and in my opinion, led the Canadian team to the World Junior Championship. He was the backbone of that team. He's only 18. I mean, there's a lot of good young players coming, but that's the whole point, is they're young. And I think it's when they fall behind and the losing, I think, is starting to really grate on them.
We just have a minute or two here. Let's take a look. You've got your brand, the Western New York Hockey Magazine, coming out in January. The January issue is coming out this week. You'll be highlighting. The cover story is on Ristolainen and Zadorov. And it's a great publication. Look for it at all the rinks and all the...
It'll be out this week, yes.
You can find all your different newspapers. Real quick, the women's 18 and under championships were played at the Harbor Center. Well, almost the best attendance of all time. Second best, I think.
Well, it's hard to judge because this tournament really has never really garnered a lot of attendance. Very popular here in Buffalo, especially with young girls. And this is a growing part of hockey is girls hockey, and this area is really taken to it, and I think it was fantastic, and just another, big plus for Buffalo.
But Buffalo, Western New York, and the Sabres and the Harbor Center did a great job the first time out.
Absolutely.
Put on the world stage.
Yep, and I think they're going to be bringing in more and more events like that down there, and I think it's just a huge positive for Buffalo.
Steve, it's always great having you in. Looking forward to seeing the publication this week, Western New York Hockey Magazine, and also the website. So thanks. We'll see you down at the arena.
You got it, my friend.
We'll be back to wrap up All Sports Western New York right after this.